So I love this herb crusted prime rib roast. We have done it for weddings, we have done it for family functions, we have done it for multiples of Thanksgivings. This is my go-to roast kind of method, whether you're doing a bone in, tomahawk roast, or whether you're doing a simple 3 to 4 pound prime rib roast that's boneless at home. It's easy and it works and it's delicious, and yeah, it's a popular recipe because of that. Take a look at this bad boy. It is gorgeous. It is a 7-bone, 31 pound prime tomahawk roast. And this is like barbecue sexy. Like, it is massive, okay? You wanna do weights? This is the piece of meat to do it with. Take a look at the bones, okay? So you guys all know that those tomahawk roasts, those tomahawk steaks that you love so much, well, this is all of them put together. So let's get to trimming this bad boy. So typically on a rack of pork ribs, you would remove the membrane from the back of the rack. But on beef ribs, I prefer to leave it on. It's gonna help these bones stay onto this meat, because this is gonna take a while to cook, okay? So we've got all of this lovely, lovely cartilage. We've got all of this goodness down here. You really don't need to do anything with it. The side that's really the concern is the opposite side. Now you can see that this roast is quite large, but we have some concerns. Now this is completely coated in hard fat. Now this hard fat is delicious, however, it actually doesn't melt into the meat. So in order for us to get a little more flavor into this roast, one of the key things that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna trim some of this hard fat off. Why do we do that? Once again, we're gonna give us some access to the protein, that meat underneath, so that we have the opportunity to get more flavor into this. Now, we could season this up with lots of stuff. Traeger prime rib rub, Traeger pork and poultry rub, salt, pepper, you name it. But today we're gonna go one level up. Yeah, we're going to my favorite herb crust ever. So it's gonna be a combination of rosemary, parsley, garlic, oil, salt, and pepper. That is gonna give this an epic crust. All this fat is delicious, I get that, okay? And the thing is, we want a delicious roast, but we also want some of that herb crust to actually stick onto this roast. You see, protein and fat heat up very differently. Fat heats up faster than protein, and because it liquefies much more quickly, it's actually gonna take our lovely crust of herbage right off. So we need to remove some of it. Pretty easy. We're gonna grab a flexible boning knife. We're gonna come up right to the corner here, and we're just gonna do a very simple trim, pulling back some of that fat. We don't need to remove it all, but we do wanna remove some of the hard bits, okay? So we're just pulling it back towards us, and as you can see, there's still plenty of it on there. So this is gonna take a few minutes, and we're gonna keep trimming it out. Just this hard chunk right here. Now you can render this out, you can discard it, it's your choice. We don't need to get rid of all of it, we don't want to do that, but what we're trying to do is actually get down to this part right here. We want to get down to more of that meat, to that lovely protein surface, in order for us to have some of that herbage stick on. Once again, we're getting rid of the hard fat, the hard surface fat. We're going to leave all this lovely soft fat there, and we're just going to continue to trim up all of these sections here just to make this roast the best day ever, basically. Trim away, just like that. As you can see, this roast, tons of marbling. This is a prime grade roast, so we've got a really great, beautiful quality roast here that has lots of internal marbling, because we want a juicy, juicy roast full of good beefy flavor, covered with just lovely herbs and garlic, salt and pepper, and all that goodness. All right, so we are getting rid of the last little bits. We don't really need to cut it all off. We're just trying to get all of these. And as you can see, I'm a bit of a sawing motion because it's actually really hard fat. So as you can see, a little bit of a sawing motion to get that off there. It is pretty hard fat, but we don't need to take it all off. We just want the majority of those chunks right off the top, just like that. So now that we've trimmed off all the hard fat that we want to take off this roast, I'm gonna give you a little tip. Because you know, if you buy a roast that's 31 pounds that has sexy bones like that, one of the things you're gonna wanna do is stand it up on the platter when you present it. So here's a tip. Take your knife, come across the bottom, take one nice little long cut. Just a little bit of a cut, okay? And here's the deal. I think whoever cuts this roast gets to eat this part, okay? So throw that on the grill, grill it off hot and fast, have some snackage, because you know, superior snackage is something I'm all about. And then when the roast actually does come off the grill, it'll stand up nicely. Now we're gonna make some magic with some goodness. And the best part is, this recipe came together because this is actually the stuff that was in my fridge one day, okay? I had a whole bunch of parsley, some rosemary. Dijon mustard is a great emulsifier of all things. I love garlic, and of course, the standard salt, pepper, and a little bit of oil. That's all this is. But this creates the most magical, easy herb crust. It's great for huge roasts like this. It's great for small little prime rib roasts. This recipe just rocks it out of the park every single time. And it is literally seconds to put together. So I've got a food processor here. You can chop this all up by hand. Why would you, okay? Get you a food processor or even a blender, okay? And then it's just a matter of dumping it in the food processor. For the record, it does not matter what order you put this in, as long as it all gets in there with enough oil to make everything come together, okay? So you don't have to be super specific on quantities. So we've got a bunch of parsley, like literally, see? Big bunch of parsley. You don't like parsley? Use fresh oregano, it's your house. Don't like oregano? Use fresh chives, it's your house, okay? Parsley going in there. Now I love, love, love the strong flavor of rosemary, so I've got a lot of it in here. Now this stuff grows like weeds, unless you're like me and can't grow anything, okay? So go get you a big bunch of rosemary. Now we have picked this off the stem because we don't want to eat that woodiness, so pour that into there as well. You can see this is gonna be really full by the time we're done. Next up, just a little bit of garlic, okay? Because, you know, vampires be damned. We're going for it, okay? There is a ton of garlic in here. And if you don't like garlic, well, we probably just can't be friends, okay? So pour that in there. Salt and pepper. You know, they are the true standards. Salt and pepper with this kind of roast, of course, is gonna help, because it's kind of like making a barbecue, like, you know, wet rub is basically what we're doing with all that herbs. It's a lot in here, okay? So if you don't like a lot of black pepper, cut the amount in half to whatever you need. I'm gonna be pretty generous with this today, though, okay? Now the next thing is, one of the most important things for seasoning meat, and that is kosher salt, or a good quality salt. The reason is that salt will bring literally moisture to the surface, will actually help us get a bark on the outside of the meat. And bark is that delicious goodness, that, you know, richness, that wonderful flavor on the outside, helps with the Maillard reaction, all of that goodness. So be generous with your salt. We're not making it taste salty. We want the great beefy flavor to come out, and salt's gonna help us do that. The last thing, next to the oil. The last thing we've got here is some Dijon mustard. Now, why Dijon mustard? Well, Dijon mustard is a great mustard. It adds a very subtle flavor, and it also acts as an emulsifier. It brings everybody to the table, basically, and brings everybody together. So we're gonna add in quite a bit of Dijon mustard. Now, if you like other types of mustard, spicy mustard, wasabi mustard, you know what? Your house, once again, use it. All right, that's all of the non-liquid ingredients basically there. Then you're gonna add a ton of oil. Now you can use canola oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Any of those oils are gonna work. Now the reason you can use any oil is because the Traeger has an indirect heat shield. We're not going up direct with this, so we don't have to be as focused on smoke points of the oil. Today I'm just using a very neutral canola oil. Of course you can use a really good quality olive oil as well. And you're gonna glug in a lot. So keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring. This has got to get to a paste stage. And it really actually depends on the herbs, because sometimes herbs will suck oil in like a sponge, and then other times they're a lot more moist during the year. This time, we're gonna be adding a lot. As you can see, just a little bit of oil. So we make the machine do all the work for us, okay? No chopping involved. Pulse it out. Just keep pulsing. Done. All this flavor is gonna infuse this already amazing roast, and we're gonna take it to a whole other level. So seriously, grab handfuls. It's about to get messy in here, okay? This is not a neat project. The reason is that we want some of that oil to soak in the meat. That's why we took the time to hack apart some of that hard fat that's on the outside. You want to really coat this onto the meat. This smells freaking fantastic, okay? And the key is though, if you can, leave it in the fridge overnight before you go to the grill. And one of the other things is cover this with plastic wrap so it really helps it soak into the meat overnight. And you're gonna lose some and some's gonna fall off. It's okay. It's just barbecue. So we are coating this bad boy everywhere, okay? Now this is the side you really need to concentrate on. Of course, this is the protein side, okay? We're gonna tuck in a little bit on the other side, but this is literally where all of this needs to really soak in to the meat itself. Most grills, you're gonna have to lay this down before you finish this incredible roast. So make sure that the majority of your, beautiful herb crust goes on the protein side and not the bone side. We've got the majority of our protein side done. We're just gonna grab a little handful, pop it up, and literally just run your hand on the other side, and that's it, guys, you're done. We've coated it up, really simple. And now go to the fridge overnight. Cover this with plastic wrap, put it on a tray if you can. But remember, if you can leave this overnight, you'll get a much better flavor profile overall. So we're going to actually be slowly smoking this at 225 degrees. We're gonna be doing a reverse sear. And a reverse sear is slowly smoking the entire piece of meat till it gets to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're gonna crank that heat and sear it off at the end to get some crispy bits and all that goodness. But it's time to get this on the grill, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Big roast, big grill, big space. Now it's time to turn the grill on 225 degrees and let's get smoking. There is no one right way to barbecue. There are so many ways you can take that meat from its raw stage to its finished stage. If you love smoke, you could run the roast the entire time at 225 degrees. If you just want to get things done because you're busy, run the grill at 400 degrees. When it comes to barbecue and grilling, there are a million options, and that's actually one of the most attractive things about barbecue, is that versatility. All right, so take a look at this bad boy. We have got some beautiful smoke rolling on this gorgeous roast, hardwood cherry. That's what we're rolling with today. Take a look. And then of course, if you've got a grill that doesn't set on fire, all indirect heat, then you also have that comfort level in knowing that all of those different methods will still get you to an end result that's delicious. And you just have to decide what you want for yourself. I always like to say to people, it's your house. Make it happen. All right, so we're opening it up. We're gonna be checking the roast. Now take a look at this beauty. Now it's been on for hours. And just checking her all out. She looks gorgeous. Let's give her a temp check right in the middle. Okay, right in that thickest part. Let's see. We're looking for about 125 to 130, anywhere between 125 and 130. We're sitting at 128, which is brilliant. It's bang on where we need it to be. Take a look at that. Gorgeous crust. Oh, all set in beautifully. You want to see a beautiful color? Look at this puppy. Look at how gorgeous it is. It's golden. It's delicious. We've got all this awesome herb bark on there. It's an exciting time. So when it comes to doing a really big roast, or any roast in general, you really need to remember that not only do you have to cook it well, season it well, smoke it well, take a final temperature, the last part is actually one of the most important, that's the rest. So for every pound of meat, 1 to 2 minutes of rest. This was a 31-pound roast, and we rested it almost 45 minutes before we actually sliced into it. And the reason is we want all of that goodness to get redistributed, all that myoglobin, all of those meaty, juicy proteins actually to redistribute through everything in the roast. That's why it's so important to rest meat always. Grab yourself a sharp knife, go all the way down, just like that. Cut the other side, go all the way down, just like that. You ready for this? Because this is what roast dreams are made out of. What bone-in roasts do is actually give you more moisture in all of your meats. And so a lot of times I'm gonna always pick a bone-in roast versus a non-bone-in roast. I want more moisture. Who doesn't love moist meat? If you've got a great quality piece of meat, you don't need a sauce. I want board drippings. It's all, what do we all like in a pan, right? We like the corners on the lasagna, we like the bits at the bottom, and that's the same for barbecue. Ours are just really, really flavorful. I cook meat all the time. But it's those little moments where you get to have something so indulgent. Like this roast is really special. This is not an everyday roast. This is 7 tomahawk steaks just still together, and it's epic.